There we go. See, it's so easy for these guys to get slack in that line too. Once they get out in the open water, this guy's really trying to get off here. Pulled a little drag there. I'm just trying to keep the tension on them, but they jump, they get into different currents, go different directions. This will be our last fish though. We got to get this guy. All right, we're heading to our fishing spot. I got no idea where the camera's pointing right now. Hopefully in the general direction we're going. A little short trip here to the dam. Well, this is normally a good time of year for all kinds of fish on the river. Bass, walleye, white bass. And then if you're fishing for cats, muskies and pikes, going to be hitting when it cools down. What the heck is that up there? Okay, we got a little off-road trail here. And then we'll see if there's any water here. I'm gonna have to get off through these this little log jam here. See, I don't really hear that water crashing all that hard. Like it's not flowing super hard right now. Looks like we got some fresh bike tracks in here because it did rain recently. I'm gonna have to leave my bike up top here. Can't really get through the hole down there anymore. Alright, let's see what we can do. Got to squeeze through this hole right here. Someone should come here with a chainsaw and take care of that. Looks like we could pretty much walk up here without even getting wet to our spot. Looks like we got a rogue line in here, kind of tangled up. Going to be in the way. The guy looks like he just took his kayak out there and he's just fishing out of it. I don't know what he's doing. I don't want to get tangled up in this line. If I can get out of there, that'd be best. If I had to predict, I'd say there was some fish in here. Not necessarily in this little hole here, but I was wrong. Got a little guy here. little white bass pretty quickly. Hiding out in the little hole up here. The white bass really seem to like this little minnow jig I've been using out here. There's that guy. Hoping the smallies like it too, because that's what I'm really after, a nice smallie. We got another one immediately. I think these white bass could be stacked up in here. Ah, it's a little smallie. Okay, so the smallies like it. Let's get this guy. He fell off. He was barely hooked. Let's see if we can grab him. You don't want to be out here, boy. See if we can get him back in. There's a little guy. Sorry, got him a little dirty. He'll get cleaned off. Okay, so we know the smallies like it. I really wish I could get that line that's hanging out of the way though, because that's right in where I'd like to flip it in there. And I just hit it. I don't want to hook onto that line because it's probably a lot stronger than the line that I've got. That's what they throw in here. That super strong line. Oh, we got a bass. Ah, man, I don't know what it is about this jig. It just don't seem to get a good hook set. The hooks are sharp, but it's a really shallow hook that sticks out. Alright, we're gonna get sun now. Maybe I should try and get that line out of there. Let's see if that one will hit again. That felt like a pretty decent bass. Because I really need to work way up into the corner there where that line's hanging. If I can get it to me, I can yank it out of there. If I can just get a hold of it, I can rip that out of there. I just hate to get hung up on it if I can't get it to me. I just went right over the top of it. That kind of, I think it's got some kind of weight on it. It's down in there now. Maybe it flopped loose and it fell down in the hole. Damn, I had something else grab this. I really want to get this line out of here. Seems like it ends right here. That's the problem. I can't get it to me. I could possibly walk up the steps, especially because there's no water flowing down here. I might be able to walk up the steps and grab that line, yank that thing out of there. This would be an interesting spot to fish from. Okay. We got the line. Now let's see if we can get it out of wherever it's. I have to use my glove. Okay, we broke it. We got it. Success. Okay. Let's see if I can get my jig out of here. You know what? I think I can cut my way out of this line here. Cut that old crappy braid line. Without cutting my own line. That's the trick. Ah, figures. I just cut my line right off. Alright, we're back up and running here. Got that rogue line out of my way, so we'll be able to flop it into these spots. I feel minnow bumps, or small fish, whatever they are. So I'll be able to work this little hole here the way I want to without that line. That wasn't much of a bite. Little guy, little tiny bass. So maybe that's what's in here. Just these little guys. If I take that back, there was a bigger one in there, but he came off. He didn't get hooked up. There's another little guy. It's always good to retie anyway. There we go. See, the biggest problem is the hook set when you're flipping it like that, because they'll just grab it and go, and you gotta hope you get a good hook set. Got a white bass here. Seems like the white bass like this jig. Like to get a nice size white bass. I don't know what happened there. Somehow I got into photo mode. Couldn't get out of it. Got another little tiny one here. Super tiny one. Super tiny guy. Oh, the camera's still on. this one dark. That's a handheld size. Alright, let's go back in our hole here. Got that egret standing up on the edge there. You got to be good to catch fish up there. See a turtle head. I just need to keep this jig up so it doesn't drag on the bottom. Just drifting it across here. Let's see if we got, I think we got weeds. Oh yeah, the tongue get full of weeds, so we can't really just let it drift out there. They don't seem to be out in the open water. They just seem to be hiding out in these little nooks and crannies. They may have gotten their fill already. Those couple decent sized ones we had that we lost, they may have filled up on these minnows and left. There we go, something smacked it. Please be a good hookup. He came around that corner, and it's risky too when you got to turn them when they go upstream. Is that a white bass? Oh yeah, he hit that thing like a freight train. That's just how the white bass hits. It's a nice, pretty meaty one here. One of the bigger ones I've caught. Whoa! You see, this hook barely went into his lip. I think this camera just keeps turning off on me. Where's that little guy? I don't know what's going on with this camera. I haven't really thrown this thing out all that far. Like to see a nice smallie just come up and swallow this thing and go airborne with it. It seems like maybe one or two fish will come up every so often. Right now they're not stacked in here. There we go. This kind of feels like a white bass. Yeah, it's a white bass. I just added a little speed to it there when I came around the corner down there, giving it a little more sense of urgency. A little small white bass. Yeah, not bad. Take it. So I was kind of drifting across, and then I gave it a little more speed as I was coming up, and it may have just decided it didn't want to let it go, so it better get it. See if we can do it again. Just speeding it up a little bit when I start coming in. The white bass seem to like that, but I don't know where the smallies are at. Man, every time up in this hole up here, I just can't get a good hook set. I just can't keep the line tightened up when it's just hanging like that. To get a hold of it, and they just don't stay hooked up. When they go out, I think I just had another hit. When they go out into the river, I got to change direction on them, and that might the hook might come out when I have to do that. I can feel it getting a little cooler out here. Gotta check this camera because it shut off on me a couple times. I don't know why. I think all those fish we missed were smallies too. Because they felt a little chunky, not like a white bass. The white bass are more streamlined, so they just kind of skim through the water when you catch them. And the white bass feel like the smallies feel like a lump, more of like a lump than like a piece of paper. Let this drift. We try and hold it up high so we can keep the jig up. Keep the slack out. Just let it bounce around in that current. Okay, that didn't work. Oh, we got weeds. I really need to wrap it up though. Try this again. Let it drift down, back down there. They're not hitting it on the drift. With it just kind of swimming. They're not hitting it until the retrieve. When it bounces around a little, I could feel those weeds on there though. That's the problem. I do just want to let it swim on its own and let it bounce around, but it's so shallow. I really got to move it. Just did it again. I had one hit it when I was holding it up straight up vertical, and it's not gonna hook up like that. I I can't, because I can't put any pressure on it. I just gotta hope it gets it in the lip. I don't know if this was the same one, but I just gotta hope when it comes up that it hooks itself. A little smallie. He's got it in the roof of his mouth. Just barely in the roof of his mouth. Just like by like a thread. So maybe that might be last fish. Unless I can get a white bass to hammer it down here like they were doing. If I had a jig like this, a little bigger, the bigger hook on it, a wider hook, probably would have got those smallies. That's probably a white bass. Just the way they're hitting, down there. When I come up through that little bit of rapid water, a little faster, that kind of turns them on to where they want to hit it. We had a nice little collection of white bass today. I wanted to send a picture out. See if we can hook up with another one of these white bass down here. So pretty much just reeling it up through this faster water, picking up speed. No one got it that time. I might have some weeds on this thing. Feels kind of heavy. I'll just keep going with it. Maybe they won't care about the weeds. Just one little tiny weed on there. Okay, so we're gonna run it. As soon as it gets to this faster little lane here, speed it up a little. Oh, not that time. There we go. You see, it's so easy for these guys to get slack in that line too. Once they get out in the open water, this guy's really trying to get off here. Pulled a little drag there. I'm just trying to keep the tension on them, but they jump, they get into different currents, go different directions. This will be our last fish though. We got to get this guy. He looks like he's hooked okay. And I like lifting it up just to get that, make sure that hook is in him. He got the tail's gone. I think this is a good fish to wrap up on. A little bit of size there.